Hey guys, it's your girl Carolyn again, stopping by to continue the story of how I met my Mr. Right and how we're living our happily ever after. I'm all old up, I'm 58, and so we're getting ready to celebrate our 33rd wedding anniversary this year. And if you saw the original video where I started talking about the story, I was talking how I met my husband back in college, and I believe it was maybe 1987, if I'm not mistaken. And then how we dated. Well, we were friends first for a while because, he had an old girlfriend that he wound up getting back together during the first part of our friendship. And I behaved. I was good, even though there was no ring on anybody's finger. I kind of laid in wait and played my position as the friend until he came to his senses and realized that he loved me and not her. So I'm not apologizing for that in any way. I know there's some people who say, oh, well, he had a girlfriend, you should have just gone away. I should have minded my business and just not try to break anything up intentionally, because I actually thought about that, but he wouldn't have respected that even if I would have been that immature. And to be clear, I was 19, or actually I had just turned 20. So I could have been petty, but I was not, because we hung out a lot. We went to parties together. I hung out in his room, but we were just friends. So anyway, now fast forward about, 2024? So 37 years later, we got engaged after 4 years. So by the time we got married, we had been together for 5 years. And so I really recommend knowing people for a while, because you can be on good behavior for up to a year. But the other thing I wanted to say is, or to stress, I really don't think it takes many years for a man to know if he wants to marry you or not. And I shared in my last video how we came up with the solution that I could pick out my engagement ring the next day, because I said, there's no ring on this finger. And he said, well, do you want there to be? And I said, I do. Because I did. I wanted to get married by the time I was 25, and praise the Lord, I met that goal. And I think the thing that Auntie Carolyn would like to say to a lot of you young women out there, you were sold a bill of goods, like say by people like Wendy Williams, that would say that like at 24, 25, you're too young, to get married. And I actually heard her say that on her show. And I kind of thought that was bad advice. And some black women, especially when I mentioned, how I met my husband in college, and how I was actually looking around, and I was getting ready to transfer from Clemson to the University of South Carolina, because I had been there for about 3 years and I hadn't met my husband. And my thought was, you're supposed to meet your husband in college based on the movies that I watched from the 60s with the white women. I said I should be meeting my husband now. And my cousin had met her husband, and he went to USC. And so I said, well, maybe I need to go there, because their population was about 3 times the size of Clemson's. And so I was getting ready to transfer, because electrical engineering was kicking my butt anyway, and I had decided that that I didn't want to be in that field anymore. I really wanted to write. Right now I'm a senior technical writer. I finally, after all these years, decided to be honest and say, this is what I want to do. And so that's what I'm doing. But I spent 3 years in electrical engineering, and I decided to change my major at the start of my senior year, which was a boob hit thing to do. I should have come clean sooner. And so I tried to transfer to USC with a journalism major, and they weren't having it, because they're like, look at you don't even have a 3.0, get out of here. So they wouldn't let me transfer into that major. So I had to stay at Clemson and finish what I started. And it was really good, because that was the summer that I wrote my letter to God, telling him, what I wanted in a husband and what I wanted him to give me. And so I worked on myself that summer, got the contacts, started wearing the short skirts, like my mom said, to show the legs off. And then lo and behold, the Lord brought a man who is a leg man, who's not a butt man, who's not a boob man, but a leg man of all people, who thought I was cute and who wound up wanting to marry me by my timeline of 25. So some of the black women that I've told that story to, they said, oh, you were one of those, who's looking for your husband in school. Yes, I was one of those. And really, I think that's what it takes. Like whatever situation you're in, you got to be looking around. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to wait, because you don't know if that good guy that you've run into, if he'll be available. If I had listened to my bobblehead husband who said, let's just go back to our respective, locations and see how we feel after we graduate and then see. I'm like, look, buddy, I know how I feel now. And, and if he didn't wake up and realize how he felt, I was going to have to look for someone else in Augusta, Georgia. But I pushed the envelope and I moved, to this area. And fortunately, he loved me and, helped me to make that happen. But if I would have waited, we might not be married now. We might not have our 2 wonderful sons. So I'm so glad I didn't listen to him. And I didn't listen to other people who said you should wait until you get your degree, because I had my husband by the time, I was getting ready to get my BS degree. And so got my BS degree. So yeah, that's important. Check. But then I got that MRS degree too, a few years later. So I think that you should make sure whatever situation you're in, keep your eyes open. And my physical therapist who helped me after I had my knee surgery a few months ago, I realized she's 30. And she's been married for a while. She's not black. And a lot of young black women who want to be doctors would think that it's mutually exclusive, to have that. It is not. So definitely look around for whatever situation you're in and find who might be out there for you. So that's all I wanted to say for now, because I got to get back to work. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Until then, have a good one. Bye.